Are we like live? Ooh, dude, we're like so live. Live 3, 4, 5. We'll see if anybody shows up. But if not, and you're watching the replay, this will be fun anyways. So you can see what these things are all about. So all things guitar. Maybe I should play like some jazz until people show up. All right, so what should we talk about? All right, so first, if you have subscribed to the channel, you're amazing. If you're watching this in replay, I would love for you to put write what you would like to share with us. Ooh, look, we have our first person live. You are my number one fan because you came here live. Let me see if I can see the chat. Let's see. Can you tell me who you are and where you're watching from? This YouTube thing is such a trip. I think I'm being overly ambitious though, because I've got guitars. I've got multiple drinks on my desk, which I'll probably spill by the time. Yellow Shirt Dad, what's up, dude? How are you, man? So stoked to have you in here. I saw one of your little videos earlier, the one where you went on the walk. I think was that from today? And have you started live streaming as well? These things are such a trip because you just don't know who will show up and when, but super amazing. So, well, I'm going to show you some cool stuff. I thought it would be awesome. So wait, where are you actually? Where do you live again? You're on the East Coast, right? I think you said you're out. Yeah, you'll get it. So we did the 90s like music live stream last week, and that went like super well. I had like 2 buddies go on. Virginia, right on. Yeah, we're going to do another live stream like on 90s music next week. And we'll probably like cover all the decades of music, honestly, because, you know, it's pretty neat to just talk about all the different artists, all the different bands and stuff like that. But did you get your guitar from your dad yet? Or are you still working on that? And I'll take a sip of coffee. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then I think you said it was an acoustic guitar that you were going to get from him. But yeah, we got to get you up and running on that, which would be awesome. So we will see how many people show up, and hopefully we'll have more, but you just never know with some of these things. Oh yeah, you said it needs work. Yeah, if you can like find like a good luthier in your neighborhood, then you can you know, have them kind of go over it. Usually the number one thing you're gonna want to look for is, especially if it's an acoustic or any guitar, is like have them check the neck, make sure it's not warped. And then, you know, because inside of the neck, there's actually a thing called a truss rod, which is like this metal bar. It's actually inside the neck. And that's actually what gives what's called the neck relief. So the neck, you kind of want it slightly like bowed a little bit. So that's what allows you to kind of push the strings down on the fretboard. So they'll check all that. You just want to make sure all the frets sound good. But if it does need like too much work, then you might want to consider seeing kind of like where you can take it. And it might be like not cost effective. You might want to just get a new one. But if you do, like, hit me up. So I actually work with a guy at Sweetwater Music. They're in Indiana, sweetwater.com. And they have some pretty amazing, like, just he'll handpick you one. And I've had a lot of buddies buy guitars from him. So, but anyways, this is actually I'll kind of just start showing some of my gear. This is like my Strat. So this is like my oldest guitar I've owned, as you can see, where a friend tried to do a relic job on it here and did a horrible job. I actually was on tour with my band, and right here, I smashed into the bass player, and I literally remember like going through the drum set. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, what's kind of cool is you can, I know a lot of people ask me the differences between acoustic and electric guitar, and there's really like no difference. It's just kind of like your approach. So like you might play a chord a certain way on an electric guitar, but you might not play it that way on an acoustic guitar. And it depends if you're like in a band or if you're playing by yourself or if you're playing like with like a bunch of artists. So you just want to you know, if you can learn on both, that's great. I'd say start on an acoustic if you can, just because acoustics are they're much harder to play, but that's kind of good in a way, because if you start with something that's harder to play, electric guitars kind of feel like buttery under your hands. So but yeah, this is like a Fender Strat. This is like a classic. This is I think a 1996 American made. And then these are the pickups. So the pickups I had put in are these are humbuckers, single coil humbuckers. And what they basically are is they have a higher output. So I kind of got them to match, because I don't know if you're familiar with like a Les Paul, but can you do me a favor? Can you actually hear the electric guitar? Like, can you hear it amplified? I'm not sure like what you can hear on your end of the stream. So hopefully you can hear that. Okay, cool. So you know what? I'm going to show you some really cool stuff. I kind of been doing these in my shorts, but this will probably be a pretty quick live stream, but at least we'll have some like cool stuff we can go over. So I've been showing, so let's just start with this one thing. I don't know if you ever heard of bar chord, but if you look at like my hand on the fretboard right here, a bar chord is when you take your first finger and you bar all these strings, and then you put your fingers in this certain type of chord shape, and then you strum all the strings. So very early on, they'll show you that as a guitar player to learning how to play bar chords, but they're really hard. So I think what people get too stuck on is the fact that they feel like they have to play all the strings or all the notes. So you can actually break it down to 2 notes. So if you watch my hand, you can do this thing called an interval. So it's the distance. So you see how cool that sounds? So it's kind of like this. So you can play it. So if I did a chord progression, which is like, let's say we do G. And if you don't know what any of these terms mean, it's okay, because remember, music is a language too. But so if we did a chord progression like G, let's say G to D to A minor, and you can see I'm doing all the bar chord shapes, like G to D to A minor. I'm pretty amazed to it how many seasoned musicians don't know. You can actually just focus on 2 notes. So you strip it down. You notice my shape goes from this to this. And it's just a shape. So you hear that. Hear how cool that is? And it sounds really cool. So if I were to play it like this, I could go like. It's almost like an intro of a song. And then if you morph that into the full bar chords. So you got this is called a major third interval. So you've got the root, and you got the major third, and then you've got the root and the major third, and then the root and the minor third. So again, I'm gonna probably throw a lot of these terms around, and I'm gonna throw a lot of these terms that are gonna sound totally foreign at first, but if I keep repeating them consistently, they're gonna sink in. So like basically, when you're learning how to play bar chord shapes, because I've gotten a lot of comments from people on the channel about how like they have a hard time with like these bar chord shapes, you can just strip them down to the intervals. So like just simplify. And then you can throw in all these other little notes. You'll see. Say through that one and then through that one in. So that's kind of how you start sounding more like at a higher level of musicianship, and it's all about being musical, right? So like so those are basically how you can strip down bar chords, all right, into intervals and make it easy. Now I'm playing with the root note on this low E string, which is the one closest to my chin, but you can do it down here on the A string here too, so you can play the interval here. So I'll show you, check out how cool this is. I had this one song I wrote for some kids. It was a C to an F to a G, and I used the intervals. So instead of it sounding like this, here's the that's your traditional power chord shapes, like C to an F to a G. What I did is I stripped it down to the intervals, so it sounds really neat. So I go like this. So you can hear how kind of cool that sounds. So that basically is just taking music, and I think when you simplify it, to me, it reminds me a lot of like how the Beatles used to write. A lot of their stuff was simple yet complex just because of the way they arranged it. So I think all of us have different goals for playing music. So some of us are going to have goals of just playing in our bedroom by ourselves. Some of us want to play in bands or play with other artists. There's so many places you can, and the crazy part now is with all of the content in the world that we have, you basically can create music for just about everything. So I feel like there's hundreds of thousands of jobs that are going to keep being created, that we need people that create music. So with all the technology that we have, it's pretty amazing stuff. So for example, like my recording interface, like my setup over the years has completely shrunk because I don't need as much gear as I used to have due to the technology. So of course you want something that sounds really good too. So basically you can use like all this technology and start off at a very simple level, and then you can kind of learn your instrument as you go along, learning the language of music too. So yeah, that was just using what's called intervals in music. So it's really simple. I just love the way it sounds. So it's almost like you could do this song and this could be the intro, like, and then if you want to pick it up, and that's another thing about music too, is if you start learning an instrument, or I don't care how long you've played, it's very common for people to neglect rhythm playing because everyone wants to play the rip and leads. Everyone wants to play lead guitar, which is totally cool. However, don't let your rhythm sacrifice. So really, if you watch like my right and left hands, it's kind of like being a drummer. It's like being a percussionist. So if I'm not even playing any notes, if I'm just going like, if you watch this hand, it's kind of coming on and off of the strings, and that's what's giving that percussive feel. So just listen to some of the music you love, and you're going to hear that, and you're going to know how they're doing it. So hopefully that makes sense. So this is just like some basics of guitar stuff, but it's funny because we all learn with different teachers, and I think we all have different things that need to be filled in. And then also, like I said about chord voicings, if I played this progression on an electric, I'd play it like this, like C to F to G. But on an acoustic, I might play it like the open C to F like this, and then to a G like that. And it's the same chords. This is a C, this is an F, and this is a G, and then this is a C, and this is an F, and that's a G. Or I can move the G up here to go like this. So go like, this is finger picking. So that's what music is. You just got to have fun with it. Number one rule is like have fun. If you're not having fun, then you shouldn't do it. So just explore like having fun on the instrument. I did a lot of those shorts with like alternate tunings. So if you're familiar with what those are or not, that's just like when you have a guitar, it's tuned to a standard tuning. It's usually tuned to E, A, D, G, B, E. So when you tune it to something else, it's basically you're just tuning the strings to different notes. So hopefully that makes sense too. But I'll try and do some of these in the shorts. I'll put stuff out on our community tab, kind of see where you guys want, because the channel's been growing so fast, and you guys are all over the map as far as like your skill levels. But the cool thing is I just want our community to be where we all want to help each other get better at everything we do, especially since we're music based. So hopefully we'll just kind of keep growing the community. I'll figure out what we'll do in these live streams. But I'm definitely going to I have the beginner guitar. I'm starting to do the intermediate guitar. And the thing is too, if you are a beginner, don't rule out watching some of the intermediate stuff too, because it's just you being exposed to things eventually you're going to do anyways. So you want to practice like all these different techniques. A lot of those shorts now, I'm trying to show things in that too. So for example, octaves on guitar, right? An octave are just two of the same notes. One's just actually vibrating at twice the frequency. So this is a C and this is a C. So you can move it up here, F, G. So octaves just sound really cool. That's why I think too, we end up ultimately becoming part of who we're influenced by. So for example, I love the Smashing Pumpkins, and in his music, he does a lot of octaves, right? So for example, let's just take 1979, right? So there's 3 octaves right there. So if you played it without the octave, it would actually sound like this. It's not the same as... So again, an octave is a very simple thing you can add to your playing, but it's going to really heighten your playing to a whole new level. So like intervals, just 2 notes. So right in this one position, this is a G major. Here's the bar chord. Right here, you got your major 3rd interval, right? You got your 4th. You got your minor 3rd interval. So you got a 5th right here. 6th. So it's pretty neat what you can just do in one place by moving a few fingers. And I think people like myself that have played forever at a certain level, we just make it look easy. But I mean, it sounds hard. We make it look easy. It's not as hard as it looks. I guess what I'm trying to do is give you hope. So like basically, like I was showing you in this chord progression right here, this C to F to G, you could play it like that. Most beginners are going to play it like this too. They're going to go like C to and F to G. But if you want to kind of spice that up, focus on like stripping it down to the intervals. So go like this. And then remember too, you have all these chords in different positions. So that's pretty much it. So you know what it is too with music? When you're teaching people music, you have to give them like little tiny chunks, because you got rhythm, right, which is harmony, right? So if you've got rhythm like this, and then you've got lead stuff. So for example, I'll show you something real quick before we go. So like if you take a minor chord, here's an A minor bar chord, and here's that scale wheel. If you want to start learning to jam by yourself, you kind of want to start kind of playing this chord. So like this. So I'm kind of vamping on the chord. I got the rhythm going, rhythm and the lead. So you basically want to just practice like all facets of music. Now, if you notice, I'm not playing with the pick right now. So you want to learn how to play with your fingers and without a pick. I mean, without a pick and with a pick. So, and just before we go too, when you start playing, or even when you've been playing for years, experiment with different picks. So these are Dunlop Tortex picks, and the ones I use, which I'll put like a link in the description, so when the video posts later, but they flex at different levels. So like this one's very rigid, and like this one's a 1 millimeter. This is a 73. I think this one's an 88. This one's really thin. So you're going to want to experiment with those things too and find what you're comfortable with. So mainly, my main point is just be open to completely exploring music, and just mainly believe in yourself. Like we're all our own worst enemies, and you're going to hit plateaus in your musicianship. So that's hopefully what we can use our channel for. So not only will I be trying to show you guys stuff, I think we'll have an excellent like community to network in, kind of like Yellow Shirt Dad and I, how we met, right, dude? We met we met in like Nick Nimmons chat, I think. So, but that's what's cool about the world now. Like we're just so connected. I have a guy, Aaron, who is doing a song with one of my producers, Alex, and I, and he lives in Minnesota. And then we're going to do the 90s music live streams, which people seem to be raging over. Obviously, I need to build up my channel a lot more before I do these workshops. But hey, man, if I could just help one person like you, Yellow Shirt Dad, it's worth it to me. So listen to, if you guys ever have any questions about music or you need help purchasing gear, definitely talk to me first before you do it. Because like I said, I will steer you in the right direction. I've made many wrong choices over the years, but I've definitely got lots of experience with that. So, oh yeah, it's weird, man. Your chats come through kind of delayed. Yeah, so you want to start off simple, practice with your fingers. Practice with your fingers. So like do stuff like this. I'll just show you something real quick. So no matter who's watching this, whether it's replay or not. So if you, here's the thing that all the teachers will show you, but it is a good exercise. Just sit on the couch and like watch a sporting event or watch like binge watch Netflix, but sit there and just go like this. So just pick anywhere on the guitar, but start on the string closest to your chin and just go like with your fingers. And this is always, I'm always going to call these finger 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to teach you guys the same way I've taught all my students for years and years, and I've taught thousands of people. So I will never, my promise is I'll never change what I call something. So I do not want to confuse you. And all the dots will start. So finger 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is your fret hand because it's on the fretboard. This is your strumming hand or your rhythm hands. Okay. So what you want to do is take a pick. And then you want to, practice while watching baseball. Exactly, which I will be watching. We're going to watch that in a little bit when the game comes on, the U.S. But sit there and go like this. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. So watch my hand. Now, what I also want you to know is I want you to watch my strumming hand. I'm picking down, up, down, up. It's called alternate picking. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. And just stay on one string for a while. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then go to the next one. Next one down. And then go back. Honestly, it's weird. You can equate playing music to like anything in life. Like, because I love sports so much, but if you played sports or you watch sports, there's a certain structure, a framework, there's a tempo to it. So like, it's really like, it's kind of just like sports. It's getting your right and left hand to work as a team. So not only are you doing fret stuff here, you've got to get this hand to work too. So after you use a pick, go over and do stuff like this. Then use your fingers to do the exercise. Because I will promise you that one day you are going to want to use an actual, your fingers or a pick. So that's why I say learn with both. Definitely learn with both. Okay. So because there's certain things you're going to want to do. Like when you start doing stuff like this with your fingers, see how I'm picking a string with my thumb and then I'm flicking. So if you play with a pick for 20 years, the first 20 years or 10 years of your playing, it's going to be really hard for you to actually kind of like learn that later on. So just sit there too and pick with your thumb sometimes. Like see I'm picking with my thumb. Dude, it's like me and Yellow Shirt Dad. We get like a one-on-one here, man. And then people can watch the replay, which they totally do watch, which is cool. So that's why you definitely got to do some of these live streams. And like I said, as the channel grows and the community grows, we'll do and more of these. So yeah, get your guitar, hit me up when you need help with anything. I'm here to help you. Definitely grab it during the baseball game. And I'm going to give you guys stuff in small doses because if I give you too much, it's going to just you got to kind of give it in small doses and let it sink into your brain and let it resonate for well. So, all right, man. Yellow Shirt Dad, have an amazing night. I'm sure you're going to go watch the U.S. play in the World Baseball Classic, as am I. I actually got my Padres. Hat on right now. But you guys let me know too if you're watching this in the replay, whatever you want to see on the channel, because Yellow Shirt Dad knows as a YouTuber, we're always trying to figure out what you guys want. So that's the hard part when you're a growing channel is we're not quite where we want to get yet. My favorite baseball team is right here. Hold on one second. So do you know the City Connect? Yeah, I was just watching the Aztecs play the Mountain West. So the Padres, San Diego Padres, because actually I'm in Idaho now, but I'm from San Diego. So massive Padres fans. So actually met quite a few there's so many Californians in Idaho now. Lots of Padre fans here, but yeah, that's my team, and they are pretty loaded this year. So we are going for some big things. So, all right, well, drop a comment, let me know, shoot a like, and let's keep growing this community. Yellow Shirt Dad, love your energy, love your vibes, man. You are exactly the kind of person we want on here. So, and at the end of the day, guys, that's what it's all about. We got to be kind to each other and support each other. Yep, San Diego, Petco Park, man. What a beautiful place. So, have a great night. And Yellow Shirt Dad, you keep grinding, man. Keep making your videos. And who knows, maybe we'll be doing a song on here one day. So I hope you're having a great night, everybody. And we will see you on the next stream. Later.